Hi everyone, the Island Stack here. Welcome to another video. Today I wanted to discuss and get your thoughts on the current rise in the gold price and how we see that going through the rest of the year and into next year. Also, new phone, so I'm not sure how the recording's going to be. Hopefully it's better, video and audio wise, but let me know down below if you notice any difference between previous videos and this one. Hopefully not. Hopefully if you do notice anything, it's for the better. But anyway, moving on to the topic of the video. So as I said, I wanted to discuss the gold price at the moment. So this week, as you'll probably have seen, gold hit new all-time highs of over £2,800 an ounce. As of when I'm filming this video, I checked about 30 minutes ago and it was just under that figure. So it was £2,792 an ounce, I think, when I had a quick look before making this video. So still close to that all-time high, but just dropped down a little bit from the peaks earlier in the week. And I was going to say, when I started stacking, I have to say you can only have dreamed of prices that high, but we will see how that will continue over the next 12 to 18 months. As I say, be interested to see and hear your views on where you see the price moving. So there's obviously a few things that are driving the price of gold. It's not just supply and demand. It's influenced by a lot of different factors throughout the world. Obviously there's the geoeconomic uncertainty at the moment that has driven prices up over the last 2 years with Ukraine, Palestine, always sort of rumbling and lingering in the background. There's China, Taiwan, that whole situation as well, which have added to uncertainty and sort of the increase in the price of gold, as gold's seen as that safe haven asset when things get a little bit bumpy and ropey. It's always been historically a store of value compared to other investments when there's uncertainty in the market. That being said, if you also have anything in stock market, so equities, etc., then you'll notice that the market, as much as gold is seen as a safe haven and rises when there's uncertainty, stock markets have also done comparatively well over the last year. So normally when one goes up, the other goes down, but both have been on a strong trajectory this year. Gold hitting all-time highs, the stock market hitting all-time highs. So they seem to be going up in comparative parallel with each other, which I guess is not a bad thing if you look at your portfolio and you see green across the board, which is lovely to see. But it's just the sustainability of both of these going up in parallel, I guess. And here, from a UK specific point of view, there's obviously the FX between GBP and US dollars that kind of drive the prices here in the UK, as most gold is priced predominantly in US dollars. So when the pound weakens against the dollar, it makes it more pounds to buy a single ounce of gold, so therefore prices increase. So the exchange rate has a relatively large impact on that exchange, so the price internationally for gold. There's also inflation, the good old inflation that never seems to go away and keeps lingering on in the background. So obviously inflation is still relatively high across the board. Gold is obviously normally seen as a hedge against inflation. But as central banks keep adding gold to their stores, I don't see that the price is just necessarily going to be decreasing rapidly anytime soon. So, as I said, those are some of the reasons why gold has kind of increased recently. But is this just a short-term bubble, or is the price likely to go even higher and increase over the next 12 months? That's what I'd like to hear everybody's opinion on. One hand, many believe the current sort of bullish trend has strong support, and as long as geopolitical risks and economic uncertainty persists, I can never say that properly, persists, the demand for gold as a safe haven asset is likely to remain relatively high. And like I said, as central banks continue to be net buyers of gold, that will keep a solid foundation for the price of gold for the foreseeable future. But if, for example, the geopolitical landscape stabilizes and inflation is brought under control, investors may decide to start pulling money out of gold and start moving it into some potentially higher risk assets such as the stock market to get those higher returns in the long run, where gold obviously doesn't pay any sort of income, etc. So people might shift out of one asset and into the other asset. Like I said, no one's got a crystal ball and no one's going to be able to predict what's going to happen in the future. But as we see all-time highs at the moment, it's interesting to see how far that will potentially go in the future. So questions for those that are watching: do you own gold? Have you thought about buying gold now that the prices have increased? Obviously everyone wishes they'd have bought more, but do you have a significant stack of gold, and is your plan to buy any more of it now that we're at all-time highs? Do you think that there's any other metals that will keep up or outdo gold? So like I have some silver here. Do you see that there's potential that silver, while it has increased quite well recently, I don't see it as being as stable, is not the right word, but I don't see that it's seen as highly in the market as potentially gold is. So platinum, palladium, gold, silver. Gold's generally done the best out of those four recently. Obviously platinum used to be higher priced than gold, but do you see any of these other metals being more impactful in the future if gold becomes too expensive, for example? And do you see the price decreasing over the next 12-18 months, or carrying on to increase along as we've seen the last sort of 12 months? So let me know your thoughts and comments in the description below. As well, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll be doing a video coming up shortly, as I got an email from the Royal Mint that the next Royal Tudor Beasts coin will be released next week. So I'm hopeful I will get that, and I'll do a video of that shortly. But thanks very much for watching, everyone, and I will catch you all on the next one. Cheers.